Every board member is here in this.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi ho, hi ho.
We're good. We'll call a meeting to order. This is the Kane County Transportation Committee, Tuesday, July 19th, 2022. My name is Drew Fraz. I'm the chair of the committee. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Iqbal,
Iqbal present.
Berman,
Berman's here.
Kenyon,
Here.
Caius,
Caius present.
Soapy, Wonicky,
Present.
Martin,
Martin present.
Pirog, Shepro,
Shepro present.
Raz.
Raz here.
You have a quorum.
We have a quorum. I'd need a motion and a second to approve our minutes from May 17th and June 21st, 2022.
Caius
Nikki
move.
moves.
Moved by Caius, second by Wonicky. Is there any changes or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Wonicky,
Yes.
Shepro,
Not voting.
sorry, Martin,
Martin, yes.
Raz.
Raz, yes.
Yes.
Public comment. Do we have anybody online or in person that would like to address the committee on agenda items? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 4, construction invoice review. This is from the Kane County Auditor. So we have a representative here and the Kane County Auditor herself.
Good morning. We recently conducted a construction invoice review. Actually, my intern, Raul, conducted. And as the last step in our process for our audits, he's going to go ahead and present his findings.
Hello, good morning. It's good to see everyone. My name is Raul Chavez and I work over at the auditor's office. I began as a spring intern and I was given the opportunity to continue working here as a staff accountant after graduation. And today I'll be going over the transportation department's construction invoice review we recently conducted.
Hold on just a second.
Thank you. So the 3 main objectives of the invoice review were to determine whether adequate controls and oversight are present during the review and approval of construction contracts, determine whether there is appropriate monitoring and supervision of the construction contract payment process, and to determine whether adequate review and approval of monthly invoices are performed by the Kane County Transportation Division. So initially, the auditor's office received a listing of contracts between January 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2022. This list included 34 projects for a total of 29.7 million. The auditor's office selected 3 completed contracts for review. The three contracts were the 2020 pavement resurfacing performed by Arrow Road Construction for a total of 5.5 million. The 2021 pavement marking performed by Preform Traffic Control System Ltd. for a total of 602.9 thousand. And the third being the Randall Bridge over Mill Creek with the construction portion completed by Martam Construction for a total of 569.7 thousand. And the phase 3 engineering portion was completed by ESI Consultants for a total of 99.4 thousand. So these contracts accounted for 6.8 million or 23% of projects completed between the dates listed above. So in addition to the three completed contracts, the auditor's office also selected a contract that was in progress. This contract was the Kirk Road over UP Railroad performed by BLA Inc. for a total of 1.5 million. There were 7 invoices that we reviewed for a total of 4.18 or 418.8 thousand. So the invoice review included verification of contract approval and verification of contract change orders approval by both the Kane County Board and the Kane County Division of Transportation, as well as a review of each contractor payment request for appropriate documentation provided by the contractor, appropriate and accurate calculations performed by the contractor, including retainage, and appropriate review and approval by the Kane County Division of Transportation. So after reviewing the 4 contracts, we determined that excellent controls and oversight are performed by the Division of Transportation. In our opinion, a thorough review of each construction invoice is conducted prior to submission for payment. So in conclusion, we would like to give after reviewing the 4 contracts, we determined that excellent controls and oversight are performed by the Division of Transportation. In our opinion, a thorough review of each construction invoice is conducted prior to submission. We'd like to give a special thanks to the Director of Transportation, Carl Shadle, Chief of Finance, Kathleen Hopkinson, and the KDOT accounting team, Ashley Young and Debbie Powers, for their expertise, knowledge, thorough responses, and valuable assistance through the performance of the review. That's the end of it. Does anybody have any questions about the construction contract review?
Just the way to end the audit. So very complimentary to the department. We're very proud of the entire team. Is there any questions or comments from the committee?
Shepro, question.
Mr. Shepro, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm delighted that you concluded what you did. I wondered if there were anything that you discovered along the way that could make it even better.
I think they already do a pretty good job. Most of the calculations were all correct and everything. It seems like they really do a good job at reviewing all the invoices before submitting them.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Who thought a audit could be fun? So
Right.
thank you very much.
Thank
for
you.
your report. Thank you to the auditor.
Thank you.
Okay, item 5, financial reports. We'll move to Tom.
Okay, hold on one second.
Copies present, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, short. Mr. Copey, go ahead.
Oh, he's present.
Oh, okay.
Sam,
They're
I'm
showing
present,
you as,
Mr. Chairman.
showing Mr. Copey as present.
Yeah, my apologies, Blair. I need some assistance here. All right, I'm just gonna real quickly just mention that the finance report is in your packet, and if you have any questions, I'd be glad to attempt to answer them. Kathy is here someplace. There's Kathy. So if there's any specific questions, Ms. Hopkinson can answer that. And then if you want to, I can move on to the FY 2023 budget update.
Yes, please do.
Real quickly, this is just to sort of tell you where we're at. We have made some adjustments, but as you know, the Finance Budget Committee is in the process of taking the various budget efforts forward. There was an email that came out from Ms. Wagner. Early, I think it was late last week, if I recall right, and it basically dealt with the schedule, and the schedule includes that we give a budget presentation now come the August Transportation Committee meeting. So we will prepare the budget presentation. It'll probably be fairly similar, but maybe toned down a little bit in regards to the one that Ms. Hopkinson gave back in May, because there's only some changes, a few changes, but at the same time, I believe that this is an opportunity that if there's other county board members that want to review the transportation budget, so we will have a presentation in August. But I just wanted to briefly mention that as far as revenues and expenditures, since the May presentation, our budget went from about 112 million up to 116 million. This was primarily to account for some project changes that occurred in regards to Randall over I-90 project that we're moving forward with, as well as some Kirk Road improvements, as well as the Doberman grade separation project. So those changes are reflected in the expenditures. And the other item I wanted to mention too was an increase within the personnel line item of around $250,000. And that was in regards to some new numbers in regards to IMRF and health benefits, as well as there's a position that we're going to, and as part of our transition planning, you've seen some of the other changes that have been occurring, but there's also a position of a maintenance supervisor that we've added to the budget in order to help with that that transition planning that the committee has heard about over the past year that we've been working towards. As you're aware, and Carl has explained in previous meetings, there's a number of turnovers that are anticipated over the next couple years, and in the maintenance section, this is also true. And because of that, we're starting some of the transition planning aspects for the maintenance section, and that would include additional headcount for the maintenance section as well. And so that's shown on this KDOT organizational chart. So between the IMRF, the health benefits, and that new position and headcount from what we showed back in May, that translates to the additional $250,000. So the staff is recommending that we continue forward with these changes, but I wanted you to be aware of it before the August committee. Also, I also want to make myself available. Ms. Hopkinson and myself will be glad to meet with any of you. If you do want to get into some of the details and the weeds, we'll be available over the next few weeks. So just wanted to make that clear too. That's all I had on the budget update.
Okay, so between now and, did you say our next transportation meeting or the next full county board?
The
budget?
next transportation committee, because we will do a presentation, but I want to make sure everybody's comfortable with what we're presenting and what we're moving forward
Okay,
with.
so if any of the members want to look at that, unless you have questions right now, digest it, but we do have to have any comments addressed before that meeting with staff. So contact Tom or Kathy, and they'd be happy to go over it with you. Any questions or comments from the committee? Okay, if not, we'll move on to item 5C. It's our first resolution approving the assignment of contractual rights and obligations from one company to another. I need a motion and a second. Moved by Mr. Caius.
Berman.
Second by Mr. Berman. Tom?
Yeah, this is primarily a housekeeping item, but it is required. It's an assignment of Transmart Technologies, Inc. to Atlas Technical Consultants, LLC. Staff is recommending approval.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Gopi. Gopi. Winnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Bras.
Yes. Just to
Yes.
backtrack on that one, that was because the one company acquired the other, so we have to update the paperwork. Resolutions D and E we can take together. They both have to do with a Elgin Township Road District project, the Coombs Road Bridge. So I need a motion and a second on items.
that motion.
Second it.
Mr. Kenyon moves and Ms. Wodnicki seconds both D and E. Tom?
Yeah, this is a project that's already moving forward. Elgin Township is reconstructing a bridge on Coombs Road, and the county has some oversight of some of the funds that are available. These funds are a small portion of the overall bridge cost, but we are required to approve these resolutions in order to allow them to expend the rebuild funds that they are desiring to move forward with. And so staff is recommending approval of both resolutions.
Is the bulk of the funds coming from state or federal?
You know, I think a bulk of the funds is coming from their local funds,
wow.
but there is, I believe, MFT and rebuild. Kathy, are you? Everything.
It's a big project for a township highway district, so. Questions or comments? If not, roll call.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Gopi.
Kobe, yes.
Thank you. Winnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Bras.
Raj, yes.
Yes.
Item 6, maintenance report, back to Tom.
Maintenance reports in your packet. I don't have anything to add to it.
Okay, any questions on the maintenance report? Pretty straightforward. If not, we'll move on to planning and programming report.
Planning and programming reports in your packet as well. We are moving forward with the bike share, so there's a little bit of information on the Fox Valley Bike Share Program. There's also some information in there about ride and cane program, and some of the total ride numbers are in there. Some information on the impact fee. There's also the Kane Kendall Council of Mayors newsletter that we do every 2 months with some various information about funding updates. There's different opportunities that is being presented through the various capital bills out there. So staff is working on those opportunities as well as coordinating with the municipalities to support them in their efforts. And then there's also some of the Council of Mayors funds too. Typically, there's about $9 to $10 million a year that the Council of Mayors works with the county as well as municipalities on distributing those funds. So take a look at the newsletters, a lot of good information in there. And as well as information about how we're looking at working with CMAP to maximize the federal funds that are available. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Tom? If not, we'll move on to items 7B and C. Again, we can take these two together. They both are related to jurisdictional transfer of a section of Granite Road in Big Rock Township. This is related to the Doberman Road Extension Project. So I need a motion on items 7B and C.
Martin moves.
Moved by Mr. Martin, second by Mr.
Berman, second.
Thank you. Tom?
This is the Doberman Road project as the chair represented, and staff continues, our implementation section continues to move this project forward. As part of the different efforts that need to occur, the jurisdictional transfer of a portion of Granite Road needs to come to the county in order to do some of the work, as well as it's an extension of Granite Road up to Doberman Road. And so we've been working with the Big Rock Township Highway Commissioner and have some intergovernmental agreements, as well as the jurisdictional transfer agreement, which needs to be submitted to IDOT. So staff is recommending both resolutions for approval.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Gopi. Wolnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Fraz.
Raz, yes.
Yes.
Item 8, permitting report, Tom.
You have the report in front of you. We're continuing to move forward with the various permit applications that are mentioned there. At this point in time, we are not moving forward with the Randall 64 request of St. Charles, but I did want to mention that we plan on, in talking with the chair of the committee, we plan on bringing that forward at the August committee. There will be some internal coordination meetings that will occur prior to that, as well as a meeting with St. Charles. And we should be able to have everything prepared for that discussion. I know some of you were anticipating that to be on the agenda today. It is moving forward, but it will be in August. That's all I have for the permitting report.
When you say that's moving forward, just the discussion at this
The
point.
discussion, I apologize. The discussion will be in August for that.
There was talk of a settlement that was withdrawn, so we'll talk about it next month when a little more staff work has been completed. Okay, item 8B, this is a discussion only, Orchard Road at Bushwood Drive. This is at the request of the city of Aurora. There have been a few meetings with myself and staff and the city and the mayor of Aurora on this item. So Tom, back to you.
Yeah, I basically am bringing this up for discussion just to make sure the committee is aware of some of the meetings that have occurred over the past year or so, maybe even close to 2 years. Staff has been meeting with the city of Aurora, as well as there's been some coordination with the committee chair on the potential of access at Bushwood Drive in the city of Aurora on Orchard Road. And so there is an executive summary that describes some of that discussion, what they're planning. There is at this current time an intergovernmental agreement that exists that says that there's to be no access point between the interchange at I-88 and Sullivan Road. This distance there is almost a half a mile of distance. So where Bushwood Drive is there, you can see is almost a quarter of a mile. It's a little over 1,000 feet from Sullivan Road up to Bushwood, and then it's a little over 1,000 feet up to the interchange. The city initially was looking at possibly the consideration of a full signalized intersection. That was of concern to staff, and we worked with them with the potential of a right in, right out. And then the city then requested the potential of a 3/4 access. A 3/4 access is an access that is utilized in various areas, even within the Chicago area, as well as around the country. It's not something that we've done on the staff level. And so the city hired a traffic engineer and has been working with our permitting department for the consideration of a 3/4 access. I'm going to describe that briefly here. It's an opportunity to look at access. This is actually a 3/4 access on Illinois Route 59 in the city of Aurora. And what it does is it allows the right in, right out that's typical, but it also allows left in. And so in cases where you have adequate gaps in traffic, where you can make a left-hand turn, it allows for that opportunity. So the only movement that's not allowed in a 3/4 access is that you cannot take a left from the commercial access point on either side. You're not able to do that because there's barrier median. And so it's also an opportunity to keep the signals out of the mix at this point in time. The signals, because of its proximity to the interchange, are a concern. And so this 3/4 access point was kind of a way or a movement towards a safe compromise that would allow for left turning movements again into the site. It will only be on the east side. The left turning movement's not needed to the west side. It's only on the east side for the new proposed development. This activity, again, it's almost a half a mile stretch from the interchange. it will allow adequate spacing for the proposed development that the city of Aurora is looking at moving forward with. And so we've had probably a good 7 or 8 meetings with the city over the last year and a half, looking at what this does. It does, again, accommodate access, and that access point up here will also take some of the pressure off of Sullivan. So there's also added benefit to the new access point. So staff is looking at proceeding forward with the city, which would mean that there would need to be an intergovernmental agreement amendment that would consider this improvement. This type of improvement too would protect what we would consider the future needs that we would have on the interchange at the tollway there. We have coordinated with the Illinois Tollway, and they're amenable with the county proceeding forward with this. So there's been a lot of coordination, as well as Chairman Fries had mentioned, even some coordination with the committee chair. And so again, sometime in the near future, I don't know if it will be in the next couple months, but sometime in the near future, we're looking at bringing forward an amendment. But we wanted to know that there's a consensus with the committee before we started drafting that intergovernmental agreement.
And this is referred to as the Toyota property. I believe this is going to be a parts distribution center originally.
Yeah.
And so that would have meant a lot of heavy truck traffic, which now will be revert back to mostly cars for this operation. But I think this is a interesting contrast or comparison to the issue we just talked about at 64 and Randall. Staff has worked with Aurora for months and months and months, and both sides made suggestions that were taken to heart. And of course, this one, they're dealing with much more distance available to work with than the other issue in St. Charles. So you're looking for consensus. Is there any comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman, Bates, please.
Let me have committee ask questions first, Ms. Bates.
Okay,
Ms.
okay.
Wodnicki first.
Thank you. I do have a question. The property on the other side of Orchard Road, on the west side, is that residential or are those businesses there?
Those are businesses. There's a hotel over there, gas station. They're businesses.
All right. Do they have to be notified before we do anything like that?
No.
No. Okay.
Mr. Caius.
That's a right on that line there across the street on Bushwood. Is a right in, right out.
Yes. Oops, sorry. Skipping around too much. Yes, that's a right in, right out on the west side. And then the east side would also be a right in, right out, but it would allow for the left in movements.
Mhm. And then how do these distances compare to, because I apologize. I go down to Aurora as often as I can, but being on the
Not
far end of
often
the
enough.
county. Yeah, okay. Thanks. Nice to know I'm welcome down there. How does it compare to, say, the stretch between Huntley and Long Meadow Parkway, or pick another stretch on, say, Randall Road that would be comparable? Because we compared it to 64 and Randall.
Yeah, most of Randall Road, in the areas that are developed with commercial access and stuff, most of Randall Road is at quarter-mile spacing. In fact, south of Sullivan here, it's at quarter-mile spacing. So there's almost the same distance that you see up to the proposed three-quarter access. You go south and there's a signalized access point. So quarter-mile is the typical. Aurora probably has some of the greater spacing in the county system. Aurora's area averages probably around 3/4 miles when you look at all their access points. So this is very comparable, except we're trying to do our best to make sure there's no signal and no potential no potential interference with the tollway interchange in the future.
And that's the big thing. That intersection on North has a red circle. That's signalized now, is it?
Yes.
Mhm. All right. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other comments, Mr. Martin?
Well, I'm unburdened by any sophistication, but when I drive Orchard Road in that point, it just seems like there's a jumble of stoplights when you hit that area and you get over to Woodman's and everything else. And I agree with the conclusion that you don't want another stoplight in there. I think it makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
it gets a little less dense once you cross the tollway going southbound. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the goal. If there's no other questions from the committee, Ms. Bates?
Oh, yes, I just wanted to understand which is the left in and which is the left, right in, right out. This happens to be in my new district, so I want to understand it better.
Okay, so she's asking which is the right in and which is the right out. So
And the left,
All right.
the left in.
I'm trying to think if I probably should have had a better display, but if you look on the east side where the proposed development is, there,
Yeah.
the request is for a right in, right out. So that'd be pretty typical, as well as a left in. So when you're heading southbound on Orchard
Okay.
Road, you'd be able to take a left into the site.
Okay, thank you. And I know the city of Aurora has huge plans for this, fabulous plans for this site. So nobody's there right now. It's owned by, is it owned by Toyota? Why do they call it Toyota?
We believe
we
that
believe so. And
Okay.
the square footage of building is way, way down. If you look at the reddish colors on there and plus the hotel in yellow compared to the distribution warehouse, it's quite a bit less.
Uh-huh.
Lot
So
more
this might
parking.
reduce the truck traffic?
It
compared
should greatly
to-
reduce truck traffic because that was going to be a distribution center.
Okay, so were there any objectors? Are there any objectors?
It really hasn't become a public question yet, but
Okay,
within the committee, I don't think there's any objection.
okay,
So,
thank you.
Staff is looking for consensus on this. Is there anybody that would disagree with their recommendation? If not, you have consensus. So we'll move on to traffic operations report.
the traffic operations report is also in your packet. I do not at this point in time have anything to highlight on it.
Okay, if you have any questions on that, contact Tom. Then we'll move over to Mike Zabowski for item number 10, A, B, and C. So Mike?
So in front of you, you have the update on projects from the implementation report. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. We will be having for our Randall at Hops improvement project, there'll be a virtual public meeting on August 2nd. There's a link on our website and the project website to get to that meeting. As far as construction highlights go, some things listed there. Resurfacing, the resurfacing contract is going right now. We're paving at night. And they're still focused on the section of Randall Road between Big Timber and Route 72. So Tom, could you go to the pictures? So this is, first picture is the Bliss Main Fabian project. What you see right now there is there's been some tree removal started and ComEd is doing their relocation. The more substantial work will start in August. This is a picture from Orchard Road at US 30 showing some utility relocation that's going on. What has just happened in the past couple of days is the contractors started doing some concrete median removal south of the intersection. So the contractor's able to start his work. And then this last picture is of crews working on the electrical equipment inside the toll building out at Longmeadow. The work is continuing as we have the equipment. And if anybody has any questions, let us know.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kais?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Mike. Say, Longmeadow, as far as the completion date, we're still looking, things are moving along. We're getting parts. Is that what you're indicating here as far as the toll is concerned? The
Correct.
toll equipment?
Yep.
There's still backlog.
Yep.
Getting in. And then the completion date. Again, everybody asks me, when is that going to be done? Even though I tell them that hasn't changed, next year or something.
Next year, hopefully, we're still waiting for some feedback on IEPA. I just got an email as an update that I should probably have something very soon. And so that'll shape the final bit of work.
That's referenced the lead remediation.
Yep.
Right,
issue.
the IEPA.
Yep.
waiting on that.
That one little gap is what's holding things up. So hopefully we'll get some news on that shortly. There was also a public meeting held reference the Randall and Hops. Maybe you could let us know about that.
That's the one that's coming up on August 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can let you know how that goes.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. So you want to move, you're completed with your report?
Yes, yes.
Okay, is there any questions for Mike? If not, you can contact him directly. Then we have item 10B, which is a resolution approving a contract for construction with Martam Construction. This is for the Kesslinger Road bike path reconstruction. Need a motion and a second.
Caius move.
Caius moves.
And then what second?
Kenyon seconds. Back to Mike.
On July 5th, 3 bids were opened to replace the existing multi-use path along Kesslinger Road between Peck Road and Daniel Way. The work includes the removal and replacement of the path and related work. The lowest qualified bid of $242,412.30 was submitted by Martam Construction Company. Staff recommends approval of the contract.
Okay, this, just so you know, this is on Kesslinger Road, just east of Peck by that big white church there. The bike path that runs parallel to Kesslinger. Questions or comments? If not, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Kopey. Warnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Bras.
Raz, yes.
Pass.
Item 10C, another resolution approving a phase 3 construction engineering services agreement with White and Company. This is related to the Doberman Road extension. Need a motion and a second.
Berman move.
Moved by
Kenyon,
Berman, second by Kenyon. Mike,
The Doberman Road Extension Project will widen, reconstruct, and extend Doberman down to Granite Road. Work includes 2 new bridges, one over US 30, one over the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, related roadway work, and quite a bit of MSE walls. Staff has utilized the QBS process and reviewed 13 statements of interest and interviewed 3 firms before selecting White and Company for the Phase 3 construction engineering services contract. The negotiated contract is for an amount not to exceed $2,099,953.35. Staff recommends approval of the agreement.
okay, any questions or comments on this one? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Kopey. Warnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Bras.
Raz, yes.
Pass.
So, again, I mentioned the public meeting that was held for the Randall and Hops project. I was wondering if we could get some feedback on that.
Yeah, we'll provide the feedback on it. Again, I think it was August 2nd that
August
it
2nd.
will occur, and so implementation staff will be ensuring that we're there to answer any of the questions along with our consultant. And so we will provide you feedback on the
We
comments.
just wanted to, this note I got was just to let everybody know it was coming up.
Yep,
And what was the date again?
August 2nd,
August
correct?
2nd.
Second.
It's virtual. It'll be online.
Okay. That wraps up that. Item 11, I need a motion and a second to put our various reports on file.
Caius move.
Guys moves,
Warnicki.
Nikki seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, roll call.
Berman,
Berman,
Almost.
yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Kopey. Warnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Bras.
Raz, yes.
Pass.
We have no need for executive session, but under new business, item 13, we'll go back to Tom to talk about some land acquisition acceptance. We need to get this done, at least with a nod from the committee today, so we can move it directly to executive. So, Tom,
Yeah, I have a exhibit. My apologies. What's that? If I can share my screen? No, that's okay. Hold on one second. Uh-oh. Yeah, I need help again. It's not coming up. Oh, there it is.
The world of what?
Yeah.
Okay, there. All right, I just wanted to bring forward a request for consensus. Last night, the Fox Valley Park District approved a donation for our safety improvement at the Virgil Gilman Trail on Montgomery Road. There's about $250,000 improvement that's proceeding forward to enhance the improvements. Essentially, it's realigning the dark line here. It's realigning the trail so that it crosses more perpendicular with the roadway system itself, as well as some other safety improvements and enhancements. This again is about $250,000 improvement, but most of the improvements are within the Fox Valley Park District right away for the trail system. Again, last night they approved the donation of the property to the county. I believe we have 3 temporary easements that we need from the Park District. They're signing off on those documents this week in order to convey those 3 temporary easements. But we need to accept those temporary conveyances. So what I'd like to do is proceed forward to executive committee with a resolution accepting that conveyance, and again, ask for committee consensus that we can add that to the executive committee agenda upcoming.
There was originally a thought of a financial compensation for these temporary construction easements, and we made it clear that we didn't think that was a good idea, and they agreed, but it happened last night, so we need consensus from the committee to move this right to exec to keep things on schedule. So is there anybody that would object to the consensus? Seeing none, you have consensus to move forward
Thank you.
directly to exec. There's nothing else under new business, public comment.
Yes, there is.
Oh, there is, sorry, Mr. Martin.
I think that this question, I think I've asked this and had it answered before, but I forgot. That the north and the south end of Wenmouth Road are 2 intersection points, at least in my mind, when I drive them, that look like they ought to be on somebody's radar screen. Are we examining those, or do we have any plan to look at them? I mean,
Yeah,
the north end coming from the west seems to me to be a hazardous point, and the south end coming from the east seems to be.
They were added to the FY 22 to 26 tip. So the 5-year program includes looking at them. We don't know yet exactly what type of improvements would be warranted there, but we are proceeding forward with that.
Okay, thanks.
They're on the radar. Okay, any other items under new business? If not, public comment on non-agenda items. Is there anybody online or in person who would like to talk about something off agenda? Seeing none and hearing none, I'll move on to adjournment. Need a motion and a second to adjourn. Mr. Kenyon moves to adjourn, second by Mr. Berman. Roll call, or all in favor, say aye.
Aye.